on the MPO side, it was basically like there was two
And now
tournaments.
Trevor can only putt with fierces.
Yeah. On the MPO side, it was basically like there was two tournaments going on. Paul and Eagle were in one, and then the rest of the field was in the other. Kevin Jones was 16 strokes behind Paul in third place. I don't know that that's ever happened.
Well, we'll get the trivia later.
A crazy drop off.
Because like
we'll get the trivia later. I've already done the research.
There's been 2 horse races of like Paul and Rick pulling ahead of the field,
Yeah.
and Paul beating the field by 8 strokes and stuff like that. But like 2 guys that far ahead, wild.
That's a big drop off.
Wild. And that's what some people were saying. Like,
We can do the trivia right now if you want. It's very topical.
no, I'd rather wait.
Okay.
I want to wait for Trevor's trivia to come up because we got a
Okay.
lot to cover before we get to Trevor's trivia. But people were saying stuff about like the course being soft and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, take Paul and Eagle out of the field. The
Yeah.
winner's at 25 under par.
Yeah, which is not
Yeah.
soft
Like
at all.
now
For
it's
four-
like, oh
for
man,
a 4-round event,
that's a
that's
tough
really
course.
good. Yeah.
That's a tough course.
Yeah.
But then you put Paul and Eagle in, and the winner's at 42 under.
They're just
Yeah.
shredded.
and you're like, all
off.
right, yeah, this
because
is
they're not human.
no.
Neither of them are playing like humans the whole event. It's ridiculous.
And if Eagle had decided not to come back, taking his time off for his arm to heal, it'd have been an absolute bloodbath.
Dude, imagine the runaway show that would have been.
That's what I'm
Although I would argue that he would not have won like that.
Well, that's what I asked. Liz asked me something about like, how are they doing that? I was like, well, Paul and
It's
Eagle
'cause
were
they
on the
pushed-
same
they were
card
pushing each other.
every
Yeah,
round.
yeah, they were
yeah.
So they
pushing each
started
other.
the feature card on the same round. I was like, I think they just got
They knew
hot
it.
off each other.
Yeah, they knew right out the gates that one of them two was going to win after that first round, and they knew they had to stay with each other, and they were both playing out of their minds.
Going
And
into this
Paul's
year,
holding that disc like up like this when he's doing his run up. What the heck is that about? I'm going to do that.
going into this year, Paul had not lost his event since 2013, which was 5 times in a row if you include the year it was a World Tour event in 2016. It wasn't a major in 2016, so 4 of them were majors, and then 1 World Tour event.
Yeah, bro. Did you hear Eagle going? I dethroned
the beast,
or whatever,
yeah.
like right in Paul's face. He's probably
Yeah.
like 5 feet away. I was like, ooh, he's not gonna like that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This felt like it all weekend. This was feeling to me like a turning point in Paul's season. I was like, this is it. This is the
Yeah.
win he needs.
Dude, I know. I felt
It's
so.
got to be somewhat depressing to play at that
So
level
depressing.
all weekend and lose to a guy with half his game missing.
That
The bird versus the beast.
I think I mentioned this last week, but I was like, this is like the most deflating thing that could have happened to Paul was he played out of his mind and somebody had a perfect week.
Yeah.
Somebody had a perfect
Yeah.
week and still beat him, and then it's like, so now he's thinking to himself, oh my gosh. Like,
even on a great weekend for me, I would have
could
bullied
still
the field
lose.
previously.
Yeah.
I just lost.
And like he's already probably been feeling the effect of like the field. It's so hard to win. It's so hard to win these days. And now it's like I finally had my week at my event, and I still couldn't win. Like
Yeah.
it has to feel impossible to win to that guy right now.
yeah, it's like
And like I mean,
That's
and then you're gonna go to the next major, and then like Dickerson's
well, like
gonna
the
be
tough
back.
part
Ricky,
here. Tough part here.
he didn't have to
is-
deal with Rick either.
No, Rick. We'll talk about him later.
Yeah.
Rick might as well not been.
I
There.
don't know what he was doing.
Tough part here for Paul is like, if he wins this, he's going straight into D-Glow, an event he feels comfortable at.
Yeah, he's
easy
back.
win.
Yeah, he's
back.
back.
You know, then you go from D-Glow to Ledgestone, easy win.
Yeah.
Like this dude could have. If you
He
pull
could've started
Paul
a great
out,
streak.
if Paul wins here and he like, gets his mojo back and he's like, oh, my putt's dialed, I'm feeling great.
His putt
he
was
could have
so
went
good.
win, and then he's worlds. He could have went win worlds.
Coulda.
Instead, he just lost, and now he's got this
Back to
long
ground
plane ride.
zero.
4 days from now, we're starting D-Glow.
Man,
It's a tough scene now because now I have 4 days to sit and think about what just happened to me out there, and now I have to go into D-Glow. Good news is it's at Discraft's, like it's
Yeah.
Discraft's event. He's gonna feel very homey there. He shot at 18 under. He could still win D-Glow. I'm not saying that. I just like him winning D-Glow a lot more if he wins the European Open.
he just takes some very like heartbreaking major wins. You know, between this and Worlds last year, it's like, man, that's just rough. Like I feel bad.
What's your prediction for Paul the rest of the season then?
I still think.
I mean, he's gonna be in contention at Worlds.
I still
There's
think
no
he's
way
gonna
not.
take
Okay.
one of the last 2 majors. You know.
If he loses Worlds, he's not winning USDGC.
Well, I disagree. I mean, he did it last year.
Not this year.
Okay. I mean,
Last year he was having a solid
Well,
season.
here's what I'll say: winning back to back at USDGC is no joke. So
That's more why I'm making a
that's a very
prediction.
safe bet. But I think he's gonna take one of the 2 majors still because like.
It wouldn't surprise me if he wins Worlds.
But
Because
yeah.
again, Worlds is what Paul focuses on. Like it's really what all disc golf focuses on.
He didn't really have a great time last time. I mean, I think Ricky wins Worlds this year.
That's the measure of success. If Paul wins Worlds, he's gonna be like, that was still a pretty successful year. I became a 6-time world champ.
It's like
Or this could be Eagles' first Worlds.
A lot of
There
couldas.
a lot of coulds.
It's impossible.
The tough part
it's
is
impossible to say.
Paul
Kyle
came in
Klein could win
51st
worlds.
at DDO, right? We're going back to the same courses.
Yeah.
One of two things is going to happen. That's going to get in his head, and he's going to, for the first time in like over a decade, not be top 2 at Worlds, or he's going to come out and be pissed off. And
yeah, I think so many people had awful rounds at DDO. It'll be interesting to see who can. Like,
the wind should
quell
be
the
down, which I
demons.
think will help a lot.
Yeah,
But
well, certainly.
anyways, Eagle though reminded us that the hype about him is real, and even with an injury, he's not going anywhere.
He is ridiculous, man. He's ridiculous.
All weekend, I was sitting there watching Eagle play, and I was like, I cannot believe what I'm watching right now. Like you forget how good he is because he hasn't been in the field for a while.
Yeah,
And even when he was in the field, he was injured at the beginning of the season.
he can outthrow everybody.
I mean, it is this guy. I think I'm confident to say Eagle is the most talented disc golfer to ever grace the face of the earth.
Yeah,
I won't say he's the best yet because you got to win a lot more to be the best.
Yeah,
But I think he's by far the most talented player to ever play disc golf.
His ability to shot shape the disc was just put on full display with him not having his incredible tool
That's what I was
his
gonna say.
forehand.
Does he shoot better out there with a forehand?
Or would he?
I think he would have done exactly the same.
Or
You think
would
so?
he have
Yeah.
relied on it too much to where he? I don't,
Yeah, tough to say. It is tough to say. It's one of those like it makes the decision easier for you when you don't
Yeah.
have the forehand. But I'd feel confident saying he would have done the same thing. However, I think him going into the weekend with low expectations for himself is what helped him get off to that hot start. And then he's the guy where you get him rolling. He's gonna do well. The old Eagle, you got him rolling, and he could be stopped by his own head. Not anymore.
I was gonna say the old Eagle
That's-
crumbles that
yeah,
final round.
That's not Eagle. That hasn't been Eagle for a while, and like that's
You go into 18, he has the birdie to win. Yeah, count him out.
Eagle has a much better killer instinct fighter kind of attitude to him, and he'll duel with anybody. And I mean, when he's throwing some of the shapes, he's throwing those aggressive rollers, crazy turnovers, lefties. I mean,
I think it probably helps too
insane.
that he came into this tournament probably not expecting to win because of his injury.
that's what I just said.
Is it? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, I
He
just
wasn't
say so.
listening.
I just said, no, I was listening. So I was just saying that like, yeah, he didn't have that pressure on there. Instead, it felt more like a gift.
That's true. I mean, even regardless of his own pressure, he also had a lack of outside pressure because people knew he was hurt.
Well,
I mean, there was we were
until
even
round
saying,
3.
until round 3. I'm saying to get
After
started.
round 1, it's like, oh wow, didn't expect that from Eagle. After round 2, you're like, okay, Eagle's in this. Now all the pressure's back on. So he
Yeah.
played 2 rounds under immense pressure.
Oh, absolutely.
And still won.
Yeah.
So like
he's insane. I mean, he didn't miss a C1X putt until like the last round. I'm pretty sure it was
17, 18, round 3.
his putt
round
is,
3. It was the end of round 3.
His
That's right.
putt looks like it is coming out of a putting machine.
He's
Yeah.
so good.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's so
Him
good.
and Paul's putts were both on.
We won't see him again until Worlds, so he's gonna take a few more weeks off in between. I think I imagine that he's just like, hey, I need my arm to keep rehabbing. I'm gonna just play the majors.
Smart.
So I would imagine
Smart.
after Worlds, you probably won't see him do the CGC.
Here's what
but
I've learned is we've learned this from now Chris Dickerson and him. Guess what? If they disc golfers that are super good take breaks, it doesn't matter. They're still really good.
Yeah.
I think also for Eagle, like I think him having that time off was probably just good. Like sometimes it's good to get away a little bit and like get all the bad habits out of your game and just kind of rely on your talent. Especially like when he had no forehand, he had to just rely on his talent to be able to throw those backhand lines. And I mean, he's good enough to do
well,
that.
that's the thing is Worlds DDO, Eagles performed well there before. I think it's a courses that set up well for him.
Oh, he absolutely could win Worlds.
I mean, in my opinion, I agree. I think him or Rick's the favorite to win Worlds this year.
Yeah.
I think it's one of them two. Personally, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Simon was able to do something crazy. But if I was a betting man, I think this is the first year I'm not betting on Paul, which probably means he's gonna win. But I think this is the first year in the last like 7 years that I'm not.
I don't know. I mean,
Like, if
we
I had
all-
to put my
none of
money
us-
where my
hey,
mouth was-
none of us bet on him to win this one, and we all got away with it. So I think it's getting safer to not bet on.
Well,
Paul
what
for
I'm saying
things.
is like at Worlds though, Worlds is always a whole different story.
But European Open, he has not lost since
I bet on him
2013.
to win.
But
It's a pretty similar story.
I still feel a lot like I feel stronger about Worlds.
Well, yeah, he feels stronger about.
That's what
Worlds.
I'm saying.
But yeah, so I mean,
Because
there's no doubt
you
that
also
he's gonna
like
show out. But
Major Paul still showed up at the European Open. He lost, but Major Paul still showed up.
didn't show up at the Champions Cup.
He did not. He did not show up. At
So
the
that's
Champions
where
Cup.
I kind of lost a little bit of hope. Although that is the fake major. So
Yeah, it's the newest major. I would call it a fake major. You also now can no longer say Eagle doesn't have a real major win. You used to love that one.
I used to love that one.
You used to love saying Konopiste wasn't a real major, blah, blah, blah.
That,
yeah.
But,
he slapped you around. He just won the European Open.
Well, the field wasn't at full strength.
I think European Open.
Let me know
there is
the only real majors are Worlds at USDGC. Let's be honest.
Okay. I was to say, watching the European Open, I might like it more than USDGC. I'm gonna say it.
Strongly disagree with that.
I'm gonna say it.
It's just not. It's clearly not as like.
If it happens every year, I will slowly like it more.
The reason why I like USDGC, it has to do with the course, is because even the best players of our time have a lot of trouble winning it repeatedly over and over again, and it's
I
so
just like the
unpredictable.
European Open because
it's not
it's
European
ran
Open
like a professional event,
and the USDGC isn't.
Minus the course, like we're on a college.
No,
we're
I
at a
agree.
college campus.
It's a weird. It always will be a weird disc golf thing, but somehow that weird course that they have made for USDGC produces the most random results ever. It is the most demanding event to win.
I think they'll be able to recreate it somewhere else, and I think they need to do that very soon.
I would agree, but I mean USDGC is still my favorite major.
I just as we got closer and closer to the European Open, like the President's Cup started happening,
and there's still not
seeing
and
clips
here's
of the course. I'm like,
the other problem I have with European
excited.
Open. Well, really the only problem I have with European Open, because I agree it is a phenomenal major, is the fact that we still don't have a full field over there. So it's still.
That's not the fault of the event though. It also my fault. My fault with
just
it
didn't say
is
that's why I didn't like it
every other year. Like, why are we doing this every other year?
Well, we don't know that hopefully they don't continue.
They were talking
that.
about it on the broadcast, and Nate Doss said
he thinks they
he goes, I think UC would have he said something like, basically said I don't think UC would want to do it every year, or something along those lines. So
I don't like only having 3 majors in
I
a
don't
year.
I don't understand if European Open is going to happen every other year, not a major.
Yeah.
Like,
I would agree.
The European Open
Majors needs to happen
where
every year.
the sport is at a spot where the top players can get over there every year. They can.
Yeah.
Whether they choose not to, like Chris
Yeah.
Dickerson or not, that's
Yeah.
another story we'll talk about here in a second. They can get over there.
Yeah.
So let's have it every year.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I understand it's tough to run, but then get some more people behind it. Make it happen.
Well, but in 2016 they ran it back to back. They just ran it as a World Tour event the next year.
It can be done. I mean, there's big events that happen every year. So make it happen.
Another big storyline this weekend is Chandler Kramer.
Who is that guy?
He looked like he showed up. I sent this tweet out, and I still mean it. He looked like he showed up for a weekly, and like a random draw dubs weekly, and was like, oh shoot, his lead card at a major. Like he's throwing only forehands. He had an unconventional form. He was rocking just athletic shorts and a dry fit t-shirt. Fits the dress code. I'm not going to complain about it. Whatever. And here he is, freaking tearing this course apart.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Forehand only. Like he was throwing tumbleweed forehand rollers all over the place.
I don't even understand.
Good
how
for
he did
Lone
that.
Star, first off. Secondly, what did we just witness?
I don't know. It was very bizarre. It was I wasn't really sure. I just oh yeah, that's Chandler Kramer still chilling on the lead card. He stayed there. I don't.
It was impressive. His putt was very good. He only threw forehands.
Did he end up in solo third?
So fourth.
He got fourth. He got jumped. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Kevin Jones jumped.
Kevin Jones. Shout out Kevin Jones.
But so he was going into this event. He was 5 for 9 at cashing at Elite Series or majors prior to the Europe trip. But most of the cashes were pretty far down there. But then he goes 5th at Sula, and then 5th at the European Open.
It's the blonde hair.
Back to back. 5th.
Chandler Kramer.
Remember the
My
name
favorite
Chandler
pro.
Kramer.
To be completely honest with you, I don't think we're ever going to see much of him.
No, dude.
He has a talent to pop off at random events, but forehand only limits you.
Listen to me right
a
now.
lot more than
Watch out for
only.
Chandler Kramer at USDGC if he's there.
That's fair, because that's a forehand event.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a forehand
Watch
event.
out for that, because he'll throw it inbounds all over that
He
course.
can pop off. He can pop off here and there, but he's going to have to develop a capable backhand to compete. Backhand only players you can get by with it. You have more spin control, more angle control, more speed. You can do a lot more of the backhand. Forehand only players, they can pop off at certain courses. You can't consistently be at the top with forehand only.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. So, super cool it happened. It was an amazing storyline, and he was throwing lines that I'm like, I mean, that's a backhand hyzer, and this dude just went forehand, Annie, flex, wild shot. He was throwing some incredible shots out there, so props to him. I mean, he played out of his mind. Back-to-back events, it seems like Sula and European Open. So
pretty crazy.
Very impressive Europe trip. He's coming home like, dang, I'm happy I made that trip. Because it also was a ballsy move to go to Europe.
Yeah,
if you've only cashed at five Elite Series or majors this year.
You never know, though. Maybe the guy's already loaded.
Maybe. But regardless, he's definitely, I mean, no doubt he can make a career out there. Like his
What did
forehand's
fourth place
good
take home?
enough. What?
Yeah, what
What
was
did fourth
top
place
cash?
take home?
Oh, I have the cash list.
I'm actually curious.
European Open.
I feel like the purses like go under the radar a lot these days. I feel like nobody wants to.
It was
talk
a solid
about
purse. It was a solid purse.
I figure European Open was a good one.
So in MPO, the Eagle took home $12,000.
Oh, good.
Second took home $8,000. Third took home $6,000. Fourth, Chandler Kramer took home $4,500.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Good
Solid
for,
payout.
that's a good. Yeah, that's a good
And
payout.
then
Chan.
FPO went $8,000, $5,000, $3,200, $2,000. The total
Nice.
purse was $100,000.
Good. All right.
It was a solid payout.
That is respectable. $12K to take home a major. That is very respectable.
Yeah. Now we have to talk about Ricky out there. He came in 12th place.
Yeah, dude. He's
Which,
stunk.
if you take a step back and you look at a major, you're like, oh, 12th place isn't that bad. It was a very weak field.
Yeah.
Very weak field compared to a normal major.
And the drop off.
This is the biggest
third.
thing.
Or
He ended
second,
up
I mean.
26 strokes off the pace.
Yeah, that's
That is
bizarre.
crazy.
Ricky,
What
in my
happened to him?
opinion, Ricky was the only other guy in that field that could have kept that pace.
Yeah.
And he ended 26 strokes off of it.
It's
What
so weird
happened?
because like I
Shocking.
wonder if his injury flared up at all.
I didn't hear anything about it.
That's why I didn't either, and I was like, it must be.
He hasn't
I think-
posted about it or anything.
I think it was just an off weekend. I'm being honest with you.
guess.
I think it
That's
was
crazy.
just an off weekend.
I don't
That's
know.
a really.
I'm
off
not
weekend.
supposed to do.
Because I
that.
mean, he still shot like under par out there. Like I think what it is it is a tough course. We just had two guys making it look easy.